Paddy's weekend in my hometown in Dublin, there is no one that will match the Snake. Omari is the world champion, but he's not the top guy. For the past year, I've been the top guy. I'm the guy front and centre on the posters. I'm the guy carrying these shows. I'm the guy with the merch queue around the corner. I'm the guy people take to see.
Just because we're in his hometown doesn't necessarily mean that he'll walk into the National Stadium as a big threat to me, and it doesn't mean that he'll walk out of the National Stadium as OTT World Champion.
Do I know I can beat him on my own? Yes. When I beat Omari, Scrappermania, and I become the first ever OTT Grand Slam champion, I will cement my legacy. I bleed Irish wrestling. The Snake is Irish wrestling.
I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
I solidify myself at the top of the mountain, and I will become the OTT World Heavyweight Champion.
Scrappermania, the National Stadium, Paddy's weekend. Do not miss it.
Hi folks, welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast. Very privileged to be joined today by the man who will be taking on Omari for the OTT Heavyweight Championship on the 18th of March, Sammy D. Sammy,
Colin,
great to have you.
Colin.
Thanks for being here today. Before we look at the stadium, I want to just go back and have a quick chat about pre-COVID. Sammy D he's been around a long time, 14 years.
Yeah, I think I started training maybe about 14 years ago, yeah.
So you're wrestling longer than
Longer
more than half your life.
Yeah, longer in my life than I have been.
Yeah. So I think everyone knows you as a stalwart of Irish wrestling. You've been around OTT since day one. But this is your first time kind of being in that main event spot, challenging. Can you tell me what happened between pre-COVID and post-COVID? Because pre-COVID, not to say that you weren't recognised, but you definitely weren't being talked about as a main eventer, where post-COVID you've become this different beast. Have you changed the way you do things? Have you changed your regime? How you wrestle? Did something happen in that 18 months to change what you do?
I think before COVID, obviously, as you said, I've been around, and I was around. I was around Irish wrestling for a long time, and I was in the mix. I was on the show, but I was just there. I was part of the show, and I think when it was taken away from me, when COVID happened, and it was taken away, and I was taken away from everyone. But I kind of made it my mission to come back better. With more drive, and I think as I said beforehand, I loved wrestling. I was loving a part of wrestling, but I wanted to be the next guy, and I wanted to take. I think I was unsure after COVID when we came back what way it would work with people flying in and all that kind of stuff, and I saw it as my opportunity to excel and bump myself up the card and be the guy, and that was my goal, and fortunately enough I'm in that position now.
It's great to see. I think I checked this last night, 1,240 days since an Irishman has held the OTT Championship. That brings us up to the 18th of March. That's a hell of a long time for someone outside of this country, or for other people outside of this country, not to have the main title. And only one Irishman has held that title. You could potentially be the second. How does that make you feel? Like what does that OTT Championship mean? Not just the prize of having the belt and being the top of OTT, but as the biggest champion in this country.
When I think about it, I love Irish wrestling. I think Irish wrestlers are some of the most talented in the world. We leave a massive mark on the industry across the globe, and to have OTT and being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, wrestling promotion in Europe, one of the biggest in the world, to not have an Irish champion for over 1,000 days, it says a lot. And I think it's time now for the Irish lads, and this is what I'm trying to push, is the Irish lads to step up. I'm stepping up. I want to bring the Irish talent and this Irish promotion forward, with me, an Irishman, as the world champion.
And in saying that, you have this championship in front of us, the NLW Championship, the OTT NLW Championship. 500 days as of the day that we're recording that you have held this championship, and not just held it, you've defended it against every comer. Is that a goal of yours as well, to not just be the talker and not just be the person who's spouting everything, but like you're actually out there wrestling, defending this championship regularly?
Well, this is the thing, Colin, is that, like, you know, a lot of people say in wrestling, like, the belt makes the wrestler, but I'm very much the opinion that the wrestler makes the belt. So when I won this NLW Championship, I set myself another goal, and I said I'm going to defend this championship to any comer, any opponent that wants it, you know. And I think I've made this belt relevant again. It's a massive belt in Irish wrestling. I think of the people who have held it over the years, and it's been an honour for me to hold it, and I still hold it. And it's an honour for me to still have it and going into Scrappermania and challenging for the OT World Championship as NLW champion. So
you could potentially be the first ever Grand Slam champion, which I only found out watching your interview with Ango. I didn't actually know about that. Again, that's another massive honour. So you seem to be like knocking down all these barriers and making these records, and like longest reigning NLW champion in OTT, first Irish champion potentially on the 18th of March for the OTT Championship in over 1,000 days. Like you're definitely setting a new bar here. Like your mentality though is, from what I've seen, second to none. Like you're very mature. Like for most people probably don't realise, like you haven't even reached 30 yet. No, not to say that like there's anything wrong with being in your 20s, but I think a lot of people probably think that you're older than you are because of your wisdom, your mentality. You're very goal orientated and very focused, and from what I've seen, a bit of a locker room leader or a leader in OTT and other promotions as well. Do you strive to do that in those promotions? Do you strive to be the standard bearer basically?
Absolutely. I think anywhere we go, we should always hold ourselves with the highest regard of respect and, you know, professionalism. I'm very, very lucky in a sense to have started so early in my career, that I was so young around like such mature heads and experienced lads, you know, and I've had the privilege to train under the likes of the Jordan Devons, the Fergal Devons, the Paul Tracys, the Phil Boyds, and you know, Paddy Morrows, Joe Cabreas, and it's been amazing for me to be at such a young age learn from these lads. And I think that's where I get my work ethic, is from them days in Bray and under these lads and these hard training sessions, and, you know, being in cars going up and down the country to anywhere in the country, you know, I can't, you know, the back arse of nowhere, and where you really learn. And I've had the privilege to learn from these lads, and I think carrying, as I want to do, carry OTT and carry Irish wrestling on my shoulders, and show the younger lads and the lads coming in now what it means to be an Irish professional wrestler, what it means to be a professional wrestler, and the massive word there is professional. Yeah. You know, so I think we should always hold ourselves with that, the Irish pride and respect, drive, work ethic, and I think that's what I want to really instill in Irish wrestling.
So you named a lot of names there, legends that this country has seen, and in my opinion, you have now moved into that bracket, and I see it at shows. I see the younger lads saying, that's what I want to be. I want to be him. I want to be in that spot. I want to learn from him. Have you felt that transition? Have you felt these younger guys kind of coming to you and looking to get your words of wisdom, or to train with you, or any of those things? Like, have you seen that transition yet?
I feel, obviously, you know, I've been doing it a long time, and I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I love to give back. I love to help the younger lads, but also you never stop learning in this job. You never stop learning wrestling, and the day you do, you need to stop, you know. So I still want to learn. I still want to learn from the lads that came before me, and I still want to learn the lads coming in, you know. So I think every day is a school day in this job. So if I can give back and help someone, absolutely, I love to. But I'm also learning myself, and I want to keep going that way, you know.
Yeah. And I say that, like, you spoke about like that kind of giving back a bit. You've brought people into your new core group. You've brought the likes of Jay, Danny Cross in, Adam Maxted, Charlie Sterling, not from Ireland, but like he's essentially one of our own. He's been here long enough. Like you've kind of brought these along on the journey with you. You've brought them into your group to draw, and you've developed this powerhouse that this country hasn't seen in a long time. Was that your goal as well with the draw, to kind of bring in these talented guys who are probably, let's be fair, probably not seen in the light that they should have been? Like we all can see now that Charlie, Adam, Jay are all superstars in their own right, but I don't think that they were seen like that. You obviously saw that.
Of course, and I mean, this is the draw. When I set out to start the draw with Charlie and Adam, and then eventually Jay, that was our intent, was to leave a mark on Irish wrestling. And I'm not going to say overlooked. I'm not saying we were overlooked, but again, we were. I think you got to take a lot of responsibility yourself. And there's a lot of people around that would say, you know, I don't get a look and I don't get a shot. I'm very much of the opinion that you take your shot, you know, and you take it yourself, and that's what the draw did. We have done, we're still doing, and yeah, the boys are super talented. I'm very lucky to have them around me, learn from them, and you know, we're striving, and we're going to keep going where we're going.
Excellent. What I've seen recently, Sam, as well, is and that I haven't seen you do before. You're starting to look for bookings now outside the country. You're starting to expand what you're doing. I think I saw you put something up on social media saying that you're looking to expand yourself outside of this country as well. I haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen you doing that previously.
Yeah, I think it was the right time. You know, I went to the UK when I was 18. I did an awful lot over there. From like 18 to 22, 23. Then I came back, OTT started. And as I said, I probably coasted a little bit and came back, and was happy with the Irish wrestling scene here. But you know, I want to wrestle wherever I can, and I want to be busy as I can. And I'm lucky. The last year I've been busier than ever, you know. And but again, I want to wrestle anywhere and everywhere I can. And as I said, you only get better from learning from other people and different promotions and different wrestlers. So that's another goal for me, is to expand outside Ireland and the UK. And I'm very lucky. I've travelled an awful lot with wrestling. I've been to some lovely places, met some lovely people. But I want to take that next step.
I think a lot of people have alluded to it, that you're at that level now to take that next step, and potentially a lot of people have alluded to potentially contracted wrestling as well for one of the bigger promotions, which, to be fair, I don't think people were saying that much about you again pre-COVID, and I think that shows how far you've come. Is there any view to looking ahead? Are you looking ahead to an AEW, a WWE, a New Japan, or are you just taking every day as it comes?
I mean, this year for me was all about winning the OTT World Championship, you know, and that's been my goal 100%. Blinkers on. All I want to do is win the OTT World Championship. But of course, down the line, any wrestler that tells you they don't want to wrestle for the big companies in the States or Japan would be lying to you, know. But right now, all I'm focused on is winning the World Championship, being the OTT World Champion, and going into the new era of OTT, and driving the company forward. That's my goal right now. So,
as far as I know, we saw, looking at the OTT Championship, as far as I can remember, I saw you wrestle Jordan Devlin for the OTT Championship during Jordan's second round. Now don't ask me when that was. I can't actually remember exactly. COVID was a bit of a blur. So, but I think during that second round of Jordan's, I think you were just another name in there with him. You know, I don't think, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I don't think anyone expected you to take that title from Jordan Devlin in that match. I think we look ahead to March 18th. I think the anticipation now from the majority of people is that you are going to take that title from Omari, and I don't think anyone is questioning that. And that's a drastic shift in 3-4 years, you know, so I think that just shows how far you've come as well. But I know it's probably different from your perspective, but when you were facing Jordan, did you have that confidence that you were going to take that championship from compared to now? How does that feel from you looking at that?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Jordan was on the run of his career, a massive run of his career back then, you know, and I'm not gonna say he was on the run of his career, but you know, he was a different beast to be in there with, and he, again, I think a lot of the lads, including myself, could take a leaf out of Jordan's book and the drive he had, the determination he had to get where he is now and to be the OTT World Champion. And he was a hell of an OTT World Champion, you know. He carried the company very well, I believe. And, you know, when you step in there with Jordan Devlin on his best day, it's very, very hard. Yeah. But when Omari steps in the ring with me, I can guarantee on my best day, March 18th, I'll be a different beast.
So let's say you win the OTT Championship. You're the man at the top of the cards. You've alluded to it already. What next then? What next for Sammy? You're top of the card, your main event in every show, you're the OTT champion, the biggest championship in this country. What's your aspirations then from there with the company? Like I think you said the other day, I was listening to your interview with Ango, we don't need to rely on imports anymore. Is that your belief? Is that what you want to get to? You want to drag the rest of the Irish lads up with you and focus on Irish wrestling rather than having to rely on these imports?
I think, you know, for a long time, Irish wrestling has relied on the imports. And to be honest with you, like, if you go back to the TV days, you know, go back to where OTT was like really striving forward and building and had this buzz around it, and you know, it was the Irish lads prominently, it was the Gymnasis, the lads from the Flats, the Wards, Martinez, you know, the Jordans. We built the company, and then as it progressed, I feel like the more popular we got, the bigger names are coming through. They wanted to wrestle, but then we kind of got reliant on the big names from the States or the UK coming in, and the Irish took the back seat. And I was there, I was in that back seat, you know. And
did that piss you off at all?
It pissed me off, of course it pissed me off. But I mean, again, you know, there's two things you can do about that. You can sit and piss them on, which I did for a while, or you can get up and drive forward and want to be better. I want to be the draw, I want to be the guy, and that's what I want to be. I want to be the guy bringing this company into the new era, the next leg of the chapter, where the Irish strive again. The Irish are high up the card. You know, the people are paying to see the Irish talent, and that's where I want the OTT back to that, where, you know, people are really invested in Irish talent, Irish stories, and yeah, of course, it's great to see the Americans coming in, like the big names that want to wrestle OTT, and the UK, but when Moxley can't make it because he was a house show, should everything just shut down? I don't think so. We should be striving to be Sammy D and Omari, and then Moxley. Yeah. You know, and that's what I want. And I'm not that's an example of Sammy D and Omari. I'm talking about Irish talent. We should be the reason people are paying to see Irish wrestling, and that's what I want to get back to. That's my aim. And when I talk about the passion, I think we have the talent in this country to do that. I know from being around all the lads, they have the drive, but maybe they just need that opportunity, and I want to give the Irish talent that opportunity.
And you spoke about a couple of the wrestlers there as well. I think we're at the case, and I think you said it very well, that there has been this reliance on these imports coming in, and from a wrestler standpoint, we get a lot of wrestlers saying, oh yeah, I want to wrestle that person, I want to wrestle that person, whatever. I don't think it's gotten to the point where a lot of people are coming in saying, I want to come in to wrestle our champions. You know, I don't think I've seen that, and that's not, again, no disrespect to any of our champions, but we're not getting these big names saying, they're saying, oh yeah, I've heard of OTT, I'd love to wrestle for them, but they're not saying like, I want to come over and wrestle Sammy D. Is that something that you want as well? Do you want Moxley to be thinking, I want to get over and have a match with Sammy D, not just, oh, well, I'd like to go over?
Well, let me put it this way. I know we talked about Moxley coming back, and Moxley will make a date eventually. When Moxley comes, and when he does come to OTT, there's no one else he should be facing in the world champion. In my eyes, these lads coming into OTT from wherever they're coming from, the big names should be wrestling the world champion. Look back to the NWAs, the AWAs, the world champion, the traveling world champions. Ric Flair going to a town every night and he'd wrestle the world champion. He'd be the world champion. He'd wrestle. That's the way the build should be. The big name against the big name. The problem I see is a lot of time these lads don't come in to help OTT, and I want to help OTT and bring it back to the masses again, where we can't fit people in the door, you know. So that's what I'll say about that.
Okay, so let's look at March 18th then, National Stadium. What do you anticipate from a crowd standpoint coming into the stadium? Because let's be fair, very mixed reviews. Some people like you, some people maybe dislike you. I don't think anyone is averse to saying that you are the best wrestler in this country. I don't think there's any argument about that. But a lot of people dislike Sammy D, and they potentially don't want to see you win that championship. Do you anticipate a mixed crowd on March 18th? Do you anticipate the crowd behind you, against you?
To be honest with you, I don't really know is the answer. You know, I've seen the last couple of months that people are coming around to the idea that maybe Sammy D and the Draws antics are for a reason, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. When we get there on March 18th, we'll see. But I understand some people don't like me. They don't like how the Draw go about things. They don't like how I went about things. But there's a reason I'm there, and it is. I'm not going to apologise for how we got there. You know, I saw the opportunity. I took my opportunities, whatever way they fell, and now I'm the number one contender, and that's the way it is. If they cheer me, great. If they boo me, it's me, even better, you know. I'm used to walking out in front of 1,000 people in the build. That's what I've done. Absolutely. So it doesn't faze me one bit.
Do you get nervous at all?
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, it's more adrenaline, you know. Yeah. Everyone gets nervous. I think if you stop getting nervous, then stop doing it, you know, because you have to have that feeling, because that's the fight or flight feel, you know, and that's what makes you perform.
Well, I think it gets to the stage where you get that nervousness where it can, as you said, fight or flight. You said that it's adrenaline, excitement. Is that what you're feeling coming into next week? Are you feeling the excitement, the buzz?
Yeah, you know, I'm working hard and I'm training hard, and you know, I'm gonna show up to that weekend, Scrappermania weekend, in the best condition I can be in, mentally and physically, and leave no stone unturned. Make sure I walk out the world champion. Just
for people watching, he's only have to come up from the gym, and he's going back to the gym after this as well. So he is training really hard.
McDonald's drive-thru today.
Don't be that. No carbs before Scrapper. So last thing, Scrappermania, March 18th. I think I've said that about 100 times already in the last 20 minutes.
Keep driving on the day.
Yeah, if you don't have your tickets yet, get them. But the end of the night, snake on top.
What do you think?
Don't be asking me these questions.
What do you think? You're
my opinion, Sam, is, and I think I've touched on a couple of things. I may not like your methods. I haven't liked a few of your methods. I think we've come face to face a couple of times in stadiums and arenas around the country. I agree with what you preach, and I'd like to see an Irish champion. I think I've said this. I think we were at 1,000 days. What was that? 200 and odd days ago, and I said that we've been 1,000 days without an Irish champion. I want to see an Irishman on top, and I want to see an Irishman, nothing against the foreign guys, nothing against Omari, but I want to see an Irishman on top, and I want to see someone elevate this country, an Irishman elevate this country and take it back to exactly what you said, back to where we were and further. And I want people wanting to come into this country. I want the imports to come into this country. I want people to be excited to come here and wrestle and put on the best shows for us fans and to fight for the top prizes, whether it be the NLW Championship, the GN Championship, the tag titles, the women's, the OTT, whatever that may be. Even in other promotions, Hard Knocks, Fight Factory, Titanic, RCW, the other big promotions around this island. I want people to be excited to come to Ireland. And if you're the man to take us there, I don't think I'd have any arguments with that.
So long story short, I'll say how it is. March 18th, Scrappermania, the Snake will walk out, OTT World Champion.
Very emphatic. I don't think we can end it any other way. Thanks very much for watching. Sam, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. March 18th, Scrappermania. We'll see us there.